Hey everybody, Paul Sincere from FistShark Marketing. I really hope you like the show. I hope you like us. If you like us, please give us all 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you listen to the show, and tell your friends. Maybe write a little review. It really help us. Thanks.
Well, I must admit to being a little bit hungover due to the housewarming party last night. Not that there was any alcohol at the housewarming party, but as soon as I got home, I drank and drank and drank.
That was an awkward little get-together. I mean, I guess I should have expected that, considering who we're dealing with.
Well, yeah. When Edgar sent the invites out, I thought we were, all going. Like everyone in the office, considering he has no friends here. So I was hoping that this was his way of maybe reaching out, connecting to people. I expected to see Doris there. I expected to see Trevor there. But it really was just us 3, him, and those other guests who didn't seem very involved in the party.
Can you refresh my memory again, Edgar? Is he the little fellow with the tricycle and the little suit on? We'll give you eye contact as much as you want, but no human.
Yeah.
That's Edgar.
Yeah, works in the mailroom. Nephew of one of the senior partners, and as such believes he can, and of course literally can, get away with murder.
I thought so. He's been kind of low profile lately. So I blanked a bit, and when I got the invitation, I was just excited to spend time with my office mates, because I really love you guys, and I hope nothing ever happens to damage our relationship or my work here at FistShark Marketing. So, of course I went, and it was okay, wasn't it? It was a good party. It was good.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt a little bit of a drag to me. I mean, normally there's a party, there's some energy or people that are interesting to talk to. And it's not to say that there weren't interesting people there, but...
I should just say that the senior partners are away for their 2-week sabbatical near the old Boston volcano, so we can be a bit more honest. With that said, it was a shit party.
It was a pretty shit party.
It was a shit party, and Edgar's a shit person. And I really wish he would go away.
Housewarming, I think, oh, great, new place, exciting. But the place he's living in, it's disgusting. Like, he just moved in.
Mm-hmm. Well, rustic is how I would have described it had the senior partners been in the building today. I can see what Edgar's going for. There's a lot of old furniture. I know that distressed closets and drawers are very popular. But these aren't distressed so much as they are on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I saw that building being built. It's on the way to work. It's 6 months old. The amount of dust and cobwebs and sarcophagi in that apartment is all him. Pretentious.
He had to bring all of that in.
Yeah. It looks like where Lestat was living in the last quarter of Interview with a Vampire.
Thick layers of dust. I mean, he must have sprayed or something.
I think you can get those.
Yeah?
Yeah, actually, I believe the FistShark Rustic Living actually sells spray dust, just to give you that sort of... I mean, it's 90% poisonous, so the amount he's using is not a good idea.
Well, I have to wonder about the other people at the party. Are they, relations of his? Or like, some sort of social group that he's a part of? They all have his sort of sensibility, right?
Yeah, definitely. I thought you was going to say sense of humour, but that's true as well, considering none of them joked or laughed throughout the evening.
No.
They really have got his social grace in that they all 12 of them just kind of sat there. Well, most of them were sitting. Some of them were lying on the floor, I'd assumed drunk. I tripped over them at one of them at one point in the evening, and they didn't react at all, even when I heard a very audible crack.
Well, they have his fashion sense too.
All little suits and bow ties and
lace and little bibbly bobs and buttons and
insects.
Yeah, it's not how I would dress.
No, certainly not.
I don't even know anybody who like those are fashions that I doubt anyone will ever wear again.
No, and the cologne as well that most of them seem to be wearing. I mean, it smelled a lot like pure alcohol and formaldehyde. I personally use Hugo Boss.
I'm more of a Drakkar Noir guy myself, but yeah, it was kind of sweet and cloying. Like the air was just there was a funk in it.
Every time you breathed in, it kind of felt thick, almost like you were struggling to breathe through a veil, through a haze. And the music. Can we talk about the music? Like I realize that vinyl is coming back. I realize people love that retro shit. Vinyl's fine. Acetate, however, on a hand-cranked gramophone.
It was a bit much.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure I've heard the instruments that were playing that music ever. It was like an accordion / trumpet, and I don't know how that works.
Well, you gotta appreciate something new. You gotta appreciate the effort. He was cranking away, making that eye contact as we listened to those tunes. And I just assume that's why he didn't speak to anybody, because he was busy entertaining with the music. But the fact that no one spoke or moved.
Even when he revealed that the hand-cranked gramophone had an MP3 player built in and he put on Beyonce's Lemonade, no one got up. I was excited, briefly, till he turned it off 30 seconds in and just stared at me.
Not great conversationalists in general, though, I will agree.
No.
Like, everyone was pretty... I don't know if they were just uptight, or if they, feeling awkward about us being there. Like, they all seemed to have a good rapport and seemed very comfortable with each other.
They were fine, very relaxed. Well, I mean, some of them seemed a bit tense. A little bit kind of...
Yeah, there were a few people who were a little stiff.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I would say, they all seemed to know each other.
They were corpses, Conrad. Can we say that out loud now at this point? I'm not imagining it. We were in a small apartment with a man hunched over a tricycle, cranking a gramophone and singing Beyonce's Lemonade for 30 seconds, surrounded by 12 corpses in various states of decomposition, from clinically preserved to almost a skeleton.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one or two was a corpse, but are we sure that...
all corpses, Paul! All of them!
I knew a guy with fleas once, and it was just a thing. He just got fleas. Every year, around the fall, fleas would just pop on and not come off. So, when you meet someone who has scarab beetles crawling out of their mouth, it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything unusual going on. Some people just deal with pests.
Do pests make a man's head come off?
Because
I was willing to put that down to just drunken rowdiness, but again, no reaction from anyone when it just rolled into the kitchen. Except Edgar, who kind of giggled and said, "Ha, they're all dead."
Well, sure. Maybe that one guy was dead or dying. I know some people who have prosthetics. It could have been a prosthetic head. It could have been a joke head. We don't know that. And there was definitely at least one person there who had plenty of life in her. She was forward. She was a little aggressive. She did have strings coming out of her elbows and knees.
Is that girl you were talking with for most of the night while me and Conrad just stared silently at Edgar, who stared back unblinking through dark pitted eyes?
I was really kind of afraid to even break eye contact, if I'm totally honest, because there's no telling what he could do. He's quick.
Yeah.
He's swift.
Well, the moment you stop looking at him, he throws things. China cups. Darts.
Oh, but anyway, yeah, this woman you were talking to.
Yeah, I said girl. I mean, she looked about like 80.
She was not a young lass.
Well,
Mature.
Younger folks like you may say that. I mean, I know everyone looks 80 to you guys because you're all in your 20s and 30s and filled with life still, and it's a beautiful thing. But for folks my age, it's not uncommon to date up a little bit because we're all in it together. We're all getting older together. And I did talk to her a lot, and she moved somewhat. And
what did you talk about? I mean, I'm curious because from where I was sat, I didn't see any lips on her face. Just kind of teeth from a mouth peeled back into a sort of, I hesitate to use the word rictus, but a grin nonetheless.
She was a little shy. She had trouble keeping up, but that's okay. I'm chatty, and I know that about me, and sometimes that's just how the balance works out. She was not shy physically. She would end up with hands and feet on me, up my trousers, down the front. I was a little, I'm not complaining, but I was a little embarrassed. She was so forward, with everybody there, but I figured, hey, we're adults. Let's party. Confused about the strings. A little unsure as to, why they were there. And now that we're talking about it, if she was making those movements of her own volition or if she was just some sort of meat puppet corpse marionette that was going to second base with me, but
I'm not a gambling man, Paul, but if I had to choose between the one-eyed, lipless, rotting girl that you were getting a handy from was indeed a living flesh and blood woman of healthy sexual appetite, or indeed a decaying, quite dead marionette built with express purpose of making a sexual monkey out of you, then I think my dollars would go on the latter. He made a sexual monkey of you.
Well, okay, sure. We can lean in that way, or we can lean this way. I mean, fancy me this, explain this. How then did we go home together? How did that happen if she was just a sex corpse puppet? Huh?
Oh dear.
I was having Craig dig around in the archives, and you are never gonna guess what he found.
Death?
No. Still looking, still praying. Oh.
One of these days.
No, he found a pilot that was shot.
What? When you say pilot that was shot, are we talking TV shows?
Yeah, why?
Not literal.
No.
Oh, thank God. Okay, no, sorry, carry on.
No, this was the pilot for Hawk and Dove. Do you remember that show?
Oh, shit!
The bird show. That was so good. With that bird and that other bird, and they just spent time together for an hour every week. Such a fun show. So
No.
Paulson,
I
what
think
the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you might have this confused with something else,
No.
Paulson.
Actually, do you mind if I call you Paul?
yeah, I suppose you could call me
Okay,
Paul.
so I knew a Paulson, and he starred in a different show called Hawk and Dove. It was about two birds that used to hang out together.
That sounds like a pretty good show.
It was brilliant, actually. Only ran for a season because birds have short lifespans.
No. This one was the buddy cop show.
Oh, Paul, you'll like this.
Yeah, this was really, really good. It's about a hard-nosed, very serious detective named Matt Hawkins.
He takes no shit.
He takes no shit at all. He's
There
just
actually
like,
is, in the pilot episode, a scene where someone offers him a plate of shit, and he said, "Do you expect me to take that? I'm a hard-nosed cop." And then the other person apologized for the transgression.
pretty smart writing on the whole,
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say. And they force him to team up. Like, circumstances come together and conspire for him to be partnered with a guy who runs a magic shop named Jim Dove.
It's not stupid, Paul.
Whoa, this sounds pretty good. Who do they get to play these characters? Is it sort of a Turner and Hooch?
Well, I mean, you need the right combination, don't you? You need the right chemistry, and I think we had a winning combination.
Yeah, you're not going to do any better in terms of having a buddy cop dichotomy than pairing Michael Clarke Duncan and Dave Coulier.
Whoa, Michael Clarke Duncan, one of the great muscle men of modern Hollywood.
Absolutely.
I bet he was so believable as the cop, as the hard-nosed detective. And Coulier, hilarious. Who better to lighten and to add levity?
No.
Heavens, no.
Dave Coulier played the cop.
Yeah.
Dave Coulier played Matt Hawkins, and Michael Clarke Duncan played Jim Dove.
Strangle me while I come if that's not a fantastic pairing.
Dave Coulier from Full House and Fuller House,
and the upcoming Fullest House. Too many children.
Just bursting with children out the windows and doors. He's hilarious. He is probably the premier funny man of the new millennia.
I would say the funniest man that ever lived.
And they got Coulier in their sweet little hands, and instead of giving him the comic relief role, they had him play the tough guy?
They gave him his breakout role. What?
Yeah, it was a huge opportunity for Coulier.
What?
Nobody expected him to be able to play the serious straight man role, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't for 5 days, but eventually someone taught him to act.
But they shot for those 5 days? Did they use that reel, that footage?
Yeah, it's a little confusing, the pilot, because there are scenes where he's trying to be funny and then remembering that he's supposed to be serious. A little confusing, but really, if anything, that talks about the internal conflict that comes with being Hawkins, the hard-bitten cop with a heart of gold.
And then by contrast, you have Michael Clarke Duncan.
Oh my god, let's talk about Dunkin' Donuts.
Just this big, imposing figure that you'd never expect to be so nimble, so skilled with sleight of hand. An incredible talent for misdirection from someone so large.
Oh, hunky dunker.
You would not expect him to be able to make things just disappear and reappear.
And he did all the tricks himself. There was none of that lying shit like in Labyrinth where someone was doing the crystal ball behind David Bowie.
No, this was entirely Michael Clarke Duncan. I had no idea he had such a talented, long-running hobby in magic.
Exactly. Well, except the crystal ball bit, someone had to stand behind him and do the hand movements. And actually, it was Coulier that did it. Looked a little odd on camera, but we sold it well enough.
So I haven't seen this. It is really hard for me to picture. Michael Clarke Duncan, he's a big guy. Mr. Duncan himself, he's not small.
No, yeah.
He's about
phenomenally large.
Yeah. Not even to the point where he and Coulier could probably sit in the same room without Clarke Duncan taking up all the space. In movies, they often have to shoot from an angle to make him even fit in the screen. He's something like 25, 30 feet tall, whereas Coulier, actually a 4-footer, actually a little smaller than he may appear.
Yeah. I mean, it takes some established camera tricks.
It was a challenge.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is a short man and stands on boxes sometimes so that he looks the same height as the other actors. When you've got a 4-foot Dave Coulier and a 25 to 30 foot tall Michael Clarke Duncan, who had just finished eating a bus, then you really do have to play with perspective.
Well, one of the tricks that we used that I thought was really, really clever was they just sort of dug a trench and had Michael Clarke Duncan stand in the trench.
Yeah, the trench.
So really, when you're seeing those scenes shot, Dave Coulier is at ground level, right? But Michael Clarke Duncan is a good 10 feet below ground level, and you're really just seeing him shot from about the waist up.
Yeah. I mean, unless we really needed a sort of head-to-head section. In which case, fun fact, Michael Clarke Duncan's feet are soaked, because we hit so many water pipes digging those trenches.
Yeah, it was really just coming up to his ankles.
Oh, yeah, we cost the taxpayer millions.
But he's also about 10 feet wide, so, I mean, just any sort of shot, any sort of camera shot with him and Coulier, it's hard to... I mean, was Coulier just on top of him a lot of the time, or...
There was some of that. There was a scene where he had to sort of crawl around him like some sort of lemur. I mean, he didn't have to. He insisted.
So that's a cop show. That's a new Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, new Turner and Hooch, new
Well,
Lethal
it was
and
gonna
Weapon.
be. I mean, I no one wanted to pick it up in the end. I thought we had solid gold on our hands, but if Craig found the pilot again, maybe it's time we tried selling that bad boy. Maybe to Netflix now. We're in a Netflix age, Hulu or Amazon Video.
Well, and things have changed a lot in terms of the climate of the marketplace. I mean, we now see a lot more of these sort of mismatched buddy cop adventure things. It could be the right time. I mean, Michael Clark Duncan's dead. That's kind of a
Yeah, sort of cuts off
stumbling
the
block.
future of the show beyond the pilot if the star is dead, I think.
He's not dead.
He's not dead?
Is he?
Oh, yeah, he is actually dead.
Oh my heavens. Who's playing Kingpin in the new Daredevil series then? Do you remember when FistShark Medical started implementing mechanical body parts?
Oh, you're talking about in that partnership with FistShark Science.
Yeah, that whole endeavor where they, I don't know where they got the idea from, but they thought about, I guess the word was augmenting the human body with robot legs, robot arms, robot eyes, so that you can see things.
I like
Good.
that a whole lot better than FistShark Science's original approach of making entirely robot people.
Yeah. I don't like robot people.
I don't trust them.
I don't trust them. Do you trust them, Paul?
Well, I don't like to do blanket generalizations like that. You never know who's going to be a robot.
You should. You should do a blanket generalization now for us about robot people and how they're bad.
I should. So what was this thing with, we were doing robot parts then, huh? That's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. Really exciting stuff. Yeah, they came up with this idea of, you know, if someone has, say, lost a leg, lost an arm, or something like that, get it replaced with fully cybernetic mechanical parts, alloys, and their ilk. That will be wired up to the central nervous system and respond as if a natural extension of the human body, in theory. In practice, FistShark Medical isn't allowed to practice anything medical, so we instead had to offer it as a fashion thing. It's less, I need this robot leg, and more, I want this robot leg. Please chop this one off and replace it.
I do prefer that. I think that that's the better way to go anyway, because it opens it up to such a significantly larger market when you don't have a medical need as a prerequisite for the limb.
Absolutely. And our doctors hate taking the Hippocratic Oath anyway, so this was a huge convenience for them.
But what? Wait 1 second. How do we have a medical department that is not medical? Can we call it that then? If it's not medical?
Well, this building also has that room that isn't a room. We just don't question it, Paul.
But that's different to actually announce with a placard outside your office that you are a medical building.
Well, we got around that. Instead of FistShark Medical, someone just turned the M around, so now it's FistShark Wedical. We tell people it's a wedding supply place. Then we can chop up whoever we want.
It's really, really done a lot for business, actually.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised how many people lose their arms in a standard wedding. So no one asks any questions when the refuse collectors come round and pick up the biohazard bags.
Things are going well with the new arms then? I know that that we launched that like 3-4 weeks ago. Are they selling through?
They're selling.
That's great.
Yeah. And the best thing about them is it's really hard to return them, which turned out in hindsight to be really, really good for us.
Oh, that would make sense. I mean, by that point, it's kind of a part of you.
Yeah. By the time you realise that the big metal arms you've strapped to yourself are punching you repeatedly in your genitals, there's not a lot you can do about it.
Wait. They're punching people repeatedly in the genitals?
In the genitals, they are punching them repeatedly.
The arms.
The arms.
The new arms that people are getting, and people are using them to punch themselves in their own genitals? Like, is that... That seems weird. I mean,
when you put it like that, it's weird, Conrad.
I could see some of the appeal, because it'd be like, oh, I can't feel any of this in my hand, because it's not really my hand. How interesting that is. But, you could do that hitting anything.
Yeah,
it seems odd that you would target the genitals.
Well, they really feel it in their genitals. Regardless of gender, class, anything really, just it goes for between your legs. It doesn't. They just seem programmed to go for there.
Seem programmed. We programmed them, right? I mean, did we want? This isn't what we wanted.
No. I didn't ask for this, Paul. I just wanted some metal arms for people. I thought it would be cool, like Logan's Run or Total Recall. But instead, we've got a lot of people whose arms can't stop punching them in their genitalia.
Are they complaining? Are they coming back and asking for a refund or an exchange?
Oh, yeah, loads, yeah. When they come past, we flip the M back round so that they think they got the wrong place.
They think it's a medical building and therefore unable to help them. But
exactly. And we're like, no, if you've got a wedding to go to, you should be there, mate. Stop punching yourself in the balls outside our lobby. This is really embarrassing.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Well, I feel some empathy for these people. I do. It's got to be hard.
It's tough, but things could be worse. And when I say that, things have been worse. But we fixed that. We fixed the really bad part of physical/mechanical augmentation.
Which was?
The gangrene. It turns out, actually, it's a funny story. It turns out that cutting someone's arm off and then crudely tying wires to nerve endings and just slapping that on with some superglue and duct tape doesn't actually turn out to be very healthy for the tissue around the severance. Turns out that a lot of something that the medical staff called necrosis happens, where just everything gets very aggravated, very, very dead, and that's bad, and it was very uncomfortable for the patient, the clients.
So, how do we fix it then?
Oh, well...
we found some new grafting method that makes the connection, healthy and actually grow around it, or...
That would have been expensive. We came up with a firmware upgrade that went wirelessly out to the various mechanical parts that stimulates various sensors in the brain. By stimulates various sensors in the brain, I should rephrase that to be more honest, since we're among friends. It kills parts of the brain that would be concerned about life preservation, pain reception, just generally anything in the human grey matter that would care about necrotic skin tissue, just fried.
That's interesting. So if it's reducing pain sensation, is it then reducing the number of people that we're getting in complaining about punching themselves in the genitals?
No. One of the side effects is that it heightens any sensation in the genitals. When I say any sensation, just pain.
We couldn't do a firmware update that would make the arms stop punching people in the genitals, then. We couldn't just solve the problem.
Nah, couldn't be bothered.
It's about priorities, isn't it? You want to make sure that people can have the arm. And then later you can deal with what the arm's doing. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah, or just not even bother about that. They got a mechanical arm. That's badass. What are they complaining about? Well, they're not complaining about anything now. Fried a lot of their brains. They just kind of sit there punching themselves in the balls quietly and confused.
And they're rotting still, right? The limbs.
Oh, hell yeah. Eventually the arm just kind of sloughs off, and then their bull problems fixed as well. So, in the end, everything's solved and we've all learned a valuable lesson.
What's the lesson we learned?
Paul, I have no idea.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Paul Sincere. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chan. Our editor is Alan Smithy. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistSharkMarketing@AOL.com. And remember, people want honesty until they get it. Goodbye.